Yeah, if you read the Hollywood papers, they say, oh, this is the Turkish Tudors, and it sort of is, because it's a historical thing. I put this in a chapter on craft, because the person who made this, Timur Savci, Tim's production, is he was a commercials director, quite successful internationally, shooting for brands from America, from Japan. Then the 2001, there was the dot-com crisis and problems in the Western economy, but there was a massive currency crisis in Turkey, which meant that he had contracts in dollars and owed money in local currency, all sorts of things, just went bust overnight, didn't work for 4 months, and then was called up by, it would probably be the equivalent of Channel 5 to come and work on a daytime soap, and because he couldn't get any other work, because he was so competitive with the other people in the commercials, he went, okay. And then he turned it into the highest rating show. And what he did is he brought cinematography. It was the first person in Turkish TV to use everything from steady cam to the latest grading techniques. And he just brought an absolutely obsessional craft to every shot, to the setting. He moved the setting of this production from somewhere nondescript that would look like a Brazilian soap opera anywhere, to this beautiful area of Turkey that looks almost like a moonscape. It's the sort of bare rock, really desolate. It's really striking. It immediately looks cinematic. And it was a huge hit, and 80% of Turkey watched it. And he built up his career. He had 3 or 4 really big, and he became single-handedly kind of like the HBO of Turkey. And then he had enough clout to go, right, now I can do anything I want to do, and what I want to do is retell the story. And this was before Ottomania, which is the sort of cool Britannia of Turkey. He basically pretty much started it, because there was nothing like this. And I was talking to other people, it wasn't just him, he's quite a good promotion guy, but I was talking to ad people, they go, no, we just didn't have any historical drama.
This is the 10th decade. Is that 10 years ago, is it?
This was made about 3 years ago, and it caused a storm. The Prime Minister of Turkey said Suleiman the lawgiver spent 40 years on his horse conquering the world. He did not lie around his harem drinking with women. And he's introduced a law to stop people denigrating public figures in creative works. I mean, it's sort of quite extraordinary how negatively the Reagan of Turkey reacted to this in a way, because it was a retelling he didn't appreciate. It's actually a beautiful interland story, because Suleiman is the reason. I asked Timur, why did you do this? And he said, well, it's the Romeo and Juliet, it's the archetypal love story. Roxolana was a poor girl from Eastern Europe, one of the smartest women in Turkey. She's the red, and they had this famous romance. I mean, she wasn't like his courtesan for long. She became his joint monarch queen, and ruled the country, and was as a bigger figure as him. And it was just this complex political myth. He's making another one at the moment based on the Young Turks and the kicking out of the Sultan, and it's sort of like it's kind of like a Dr. Zhivago style story. It was a very successful, quite literary novel. But he picks these sort of mythic stories, but then he just applies such craft to their production. And I said, you seem a very confident guy, did you know this was going to work? He said, well, he had to get it was the first of this trend of big international Turkish media properties that travelled. He had to do that because it cost so much to produce. It was, in local terms, costing as much as the West Wing or something. He just spent a fortune, all his money, on historical research, costumes, academics, set building, all this kind of stuff. And it kind of came off, because I think it's got a global audience of 800 million, and it really is a sort of icon of this new confidence. And whilst you can say it's the Turkish Tudors, it is a retelling of their own history. It reminds me of the moment when China started telling its own story through lavish historical epics, and it's great, and he's great as well. He's a real kind of